So we're going to reverse the order of operations in order to isolate the variable. What do I mean by, I figured if I said isolate the variable, I should tell you what that means. Get it alone. Okay, isolate the variable just means get it alone on one side. Okay, so we're going to talk about these properties of equality. These are things that sometimes you don't think about them when you're doing them, but what we're doing in an equation is that equal sign means the same, correct? Think of it as you got to keep things balanced. If you do something to one side, what do you need to do to keep it balanced? Do it to the other side. And did your teacher ever tell you about with equations like a scale or not? Did they talk about that before? Like, have you ever seen those scales in science where they, you know, you put things on the sides or no? Yes, no. Okay, you have these scales like in science where you put they're weighted and you keep them. Okay, so if I had a scale and they were exactly the same, they're balanced, and I took something off the one side, what's going to happen is this is going to whoop, right, lighter. So to keep it balanced, I have to take the same amount off the other side, then it becomes balanced. Or, same deal, if I put something on, it becomes heavier, I would have to put that same amount on the other. Okay, so we want to keep equations balanced. We're going to do the same thing to both sides. So, here's what the addition property of equality says. If you add something to one side, what do you think you have to do? Add it to the other. Alright, so, if A equals B, then A plus C equals B plus C. Here's my example for that. And by the way, what I'm doing right now are one-step equations. This is just to show what the property is. It is not to, this is not what we're doing today. This is really basic. Okay, so D minus 4 equals negative 7 if I asked you to solve that. What would you do? Let's use the addition property of equality. We would undo the subtraction by adding 4 to both sides. So here's where this property comes in. I'm drawing an arrow for a reason. This is what we're doing here. We're doing the addition property of equality. So what would I have left on this side then? I'd have D equals, what's negative 7 plus 4? Negative 3. And I hope you realize if you put that in that worked. Alright, so subtraction property of equality. If A equals B, I'm going to stay consistent the whole time, then A minus C would equal what? B minus C. So if I said solve x plus 2.4 equals 1.9. Okay, so I'm going to use the subtraction property of equality what would I do? Subtract 2.4 minus 2.4 minus 2.4. I like to sometimes put a line there. All right, what is 1.9 minus 2.4? No, I'm looking. I know what it is. Do you know what it is? Negative what? Okay. When you have subtraction, this is the bigger number, so you know it's going to be negative, right? Let's find the difference between 2.4 and 1.9. Don't we have to borrow? Okay. 14 minus 9 is 1 minus 1 is. All right. X equals negative 0.5. And again, what we did right here was an example of the subtraction property of equality. Okay. I hope you're getting the idea here. For multiplication property of equality, if A equals B, then A times C equals B times C. Okay, so I'm going to do two examples here. One is going to involve just multiplication, and then the other is going to involve a reciprocal. So my first one is, what if I asked you to solve x over negative 9 equals negative 3? You might think this is a fraction bar, but what's the fraction bar the same as? What operation? Division. So the way that I undo division is I multiply. Okay, and so what should I multiply both sides by? Negative 9. I'm going to put a parenthesis here. Sometimes I put a parenthesis just to remind me that when I'm doing a negative 9 that it's multiplication, because sometimes then we'll get stuck and we'll think it's subtraction. Maybe not. What happens here? Yeah, this is really that, right? Okay, so these cancel. X equals negative 3 times negative 9 is 27, positive 27. Okay, and so this, what I did here, I multiplied both sides by negative 9, multiplication property of equality. All right, sometimes we have some fractions when we solve, and a teacher previously might have told you to put them in your calculator and divide, and I'm going to tell you no. No, 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 no. Don't do that. So here we go. Solve. 2/7 x equals 4. I'm not going to treat you like babies. Just because it's a fraction, it's not scary. Okay? We're going to work our way through it. We're not going to just plug it in our calculator. We can use multiplication properties. What would I multiply by to get rid of the 2 7s? It's reciprocal, which is, well, the opposite is positive negative. What's the reciprocal? 7 over 2. Okay. So here's why this works. This is multiplication. Wouldn't I get 14 over 14 then? And so wouldn't that cancel out and get you 1? All right. But I did it to this side. I need to do it to this side. So I multiplied. That's another reason or another case where I can use this multiplication property. This is going to get me 1x. 1x is the same as x equals.
sometimes we'll have students who do 4 times 7 and 4 times 2. No, this isn't 4 over 4, this is 4 over 1. Oh, you guys are awesome. Alright, 4 times 7 is 28, 1 times 2 is 2. Can I simplify that? Yeah. Okay. My point being, this is the multiplication property of equality, what I just did there. Yeah, Jackie.
This is what from the beginning, like without going into a fraction of the answer, like 2 goes into 2 ones and then
Yep. Yeah. That's what you did, right? You did 2 into 4 and then that times 7. Sure. Sure. Okay. Division property of equality. Okay, last one. We're getting the hang of this, I think. If, we're on the other side now, A equals B, then A divided by C equals B divided by C. Okay, so here's my example. If I told you to solve negative 2.13 equals 4.7y. Okay, now, this is something where I am going to do division and then I'm going to give an approximate answer using my calculator because these are decimal. If you didn't bring a calculator, you might need one today. I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, oh, I had another one, 5. I have 5 in here. So if you need a calculator, you can grab one of those 5, or or if you brought one, just a scientific calculator. Eventually, we talked about I do want you to have a graphing one, but so get calculator, if you got one, get it out. Yeah, come on up. First come, first serve. All right. How would I stop? Nobody brought their calculator? Olivia brought her calculator. That one's not going to have batteries, I don't think. Where is your locker? Yeah. And then, Jackie, we need to talk about passes. Is that one not? Yeah. Sorry, Kristen. You can share, though. All right, so careful, careful. I want to solve for y. What should I get rid of, or how should I get rid of that 4.7? Let's divide it. Okay, would you do that for me, please, and give me an approximate for y? Any brave soul want to share what you got? No. Are we using the calculator page? Okay. So what was after the 5? Can you tell? Was it a 3? Okay. She said it was about negative 0.453, and I'm going to use this symbol. What's that symbol mean? About or approximately. Okay. Is that what we got? Make sure you're doing top divided by bottom. Don't just take the bigger number and divide. So what we did there was when we divided by the 4.7, we used the division property of equality. Okay. So we're going to do some guided practice next. There are different ways that I have you practice in here. One of them involves me putting problems up and you doing them on a whiteboard. And sometimes I have practice in our packets, and that's what this is. So we will do a couple of these together, and then I'm going to let you work on some yourself. The first one I'd like to do together is this one. Now let's put this into practice. So we're going to solve two-step equations using our properties of equality. And also, do you see the instructions here? Yeah. Tell what property you use. Now, do you have to write out the whole thing? No, I'll show you some abbreviations. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to write something up here. What am I writing down? Because do you remember at the beginning I said to solve, we reverse the order of operations? Okay. So we're kind of going backwards. Alright, I want to isolate A. I want to get A alone. What should I do first? Good. Who said it? Okay. Subtract 2. I'm going to draw a line. Now I have negative 8 equals A over 4. So we undid the addition first. We started at the end. This is A divided by 4. That's division. Brittany, how do we undo division? So we should multiply, right? Multiply by... Very good. All right. Multiply both sides by 4. I'm going to put a parenthesis here so remember it's not 4 minus 8, but 4 times negative 8. What is 4 times negative 8? Equals. Alright, now let's go back